What's going on? It's your boy Kerry Too Smooth. If you're watching this channel, that means you really want to learn how to play R&B, neo soul, or gospel on this guitar. Today, I'm taking you in kind of my process. I have a lot of people who really give me compliments on how my tone is. Just bought this new guitar, got it set up the way that I want, you know, with the Lambertone and the bridge. These are stock pickups, the ones that John Mayer put in. This is a Silver Sky. So now that I have it, I want to dial in the helix and make sure that the helix is giving me the warmth that I want with this particular guitar, because it's probably going to become one of my main guitars that I'm playing. I'm operating out of my Bad Cat today, but I'm going to show you kind of like behind the scenes of how I like to dial in my tone. So this is what we're going to do today. So first things first, I got to make sure I'm tuned. It's important to make sure you're tuned. I know it should go without saying, but sometimes people just plug in and play and wonder why the guitar sounds really funny. That's why. All right, cool. So as I'm dialing in right here, I'm using this amp simulator, but I want to make sure that the warmth sounds right. So this, it was sounding a little thin before, so I want to really focus in on the treble and the mids to kind of make sure that it doesn't sound too muddy. So if you hear me, I know to the regular ear it sounds good, but I know there's certain specific things that I'm looking for. Kind of got it essentially where I want it. Now the next thing I want to work on is the overdrive tone. I want to make sure that the overdrive tone feels how I want it to feel, because this guitar is different from the other guitars. The pickup, the Kramer pickup, is one that I normally play with other guitars, but I want to make sure that it feels and it bites the way that I want it to. So I'm using my amp so I can kind of get a real-time response to make sure it feels like I want it to feel. So let's just dial that in real quick. Go down here. So even while I'm doing it, I'm going to go through and really kind of play around with the tone to see if I want the tone to sound. And typically for me, when I'm playing, I always have the level, I usually have the gain all the way maxed out. And then that's where like the level, or how loud I want it to be, that's where I kind of have it in between, sometimes 5, 6, or 7, depending on the guitar that I'm playing, so that way it has that kind of bite. Because if I don't, turn the level down, it doesn't necessarily give me the kind of response that I want. And I typically try to play the same kind of riff or in the same thing, because what can happen is you'll find yourself playing a riff or whatever. The riff might be really dope and you think that the guitar sounds great because the riff is dope and not because the guitar sounds good. So let me go back and unpack that again. Try to typically play the same riff whenever you're like checking the tone of whatever kind of guitar that you're playing, so that it is the tone that you're checking out, and not that, oh, I played something really dope so the guitar sounds great and you think that's what it is. Make sure you're playing the same kind of riff. I didn't have to be identical, but at least in the same vein, so that way you can tell, like, okay, does it sound different? Does it feel different? Does it sound the same? So that way you know that when you're making the changes that you need to make in order to get the guitar to sound and feel the same way, that it's really changing. It's not the playing, it's just really the tone that's really changing. delay kind of sound just to make sure that it really feels the way that I want to feel. So that's typically what I'll do. Like when I get a new guitar and I want to make sure that my overall tones sound and feel the same, I'm going to go through and I'm going to be a little bit more meticulous. I'm not going to show you the whole process of how I'm going through, but this is typically what I do. I'll leave the amp tone. The reason why I like Bad Cat because I don't have to worry about adjusting all of the knobs. For the channel 1, it's just really a tone knob, so I can dial in the tone however I like it for the most part, and then I can just really work on the responsiveness of what's coming off of the helix. Or if I'm using any other board, if I'm using like my regular analog board, if I'm using my Boss Me80, I can dial in the tones to get exactly what I need from the guitar. So this is a little snapshot. If you love this, leave a comment and let me know if you like it, and I'll try to do more videos like this later on. To get more help with your guitar journeys, watch these videos.